Hey everybody, L here, playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. I'm here by request. We're going to do a test on Larxene HD's ranged multiplier condition. If you missed the last video, her condition is that she's stronger the more gauges you spent this turn. And apart from that, we don't really have the full details on how many gauges we need to spend, or if we're looking for gauges relative to the max gauge capacity your Keyblade has, if it's a percentage of gauges, that sort of thing. So we're going to try to figure that out. I will warn you guys, this is probably going to be on the denser side. Keep watching if you're interested in game mechanics like this. I'm going to take my time and try to be thorough with this so we can be sure. Okay, with that out of the way, we have Larxene on this Moogle of Glory plus 35 because it has 20 gauges. She's getting no Keyblade slot multiplier, and she's still level 1. I haven't done anything here yet. I don't intend to until we see the next high score challenge, because most of the time it's better to keep your non-MVP medals at a really low level so they do less damage. But we can make that determination later. Okay, that's not going to impact our test. We're going to go into this story quest and check out what that damage looks like. We'll go to these shadows first. Looks like about 1500 damage each hit. We'll go to these soldiers. 2300 in this case. Okay. From here, we're going to switch Keyblades. We're going to go to the Diamond Dust here. We're going to cut our gauges in half. Diamond Dust only has a maximum of 10 gauges. Let's see if that changes the damage. Still about 1500 per hit. And are we still at 2300? Still about 2300 here too, so it appears that the number of gauges your Keyblade can hold will not impact Larxene's multiplier. It really is just a count of how many gauges you've spent. From here, let's hop on over to a Proud Plus quest. We're going to borrow this Dark Side from level 420 Dark Side. And we'll switch Keyblades again. This time we'll go to the Missing Ache. I have this set up here for our testing. And the first 3 medals, I picked these not because they're particularly strong or anything, but they all have that double cast, and that's going to let us play with our gauge consumption to try to find where that sweet spot is. And we have Tyree in the back, because she's going to refill our gauges and keep us alive with that guard up M 100%. Okay, let's go. Now, Alice is also important here for the Dispel because Darkseid will buff himself every turn. So a Dispel every turn is going to keep our tests consistent and fair. We're going to start off with just the Alice. We're going to skip everything else and see what the damage looks like at 2 gauges spent. About 2159, and what I'm thinking we'll do from here is we're just going to go ahead and keep activating more medals each turn, increase our gauge consumption until we stop seeing an increase in damage. So this time let's activate Alice 2 times. We'll go to 4 gauges spent and skip the rest. So there's our increase, we're up to 2630. Okay, now let's go to 5 gauges, we'll add in a Riku. See if we can beat 2600. Okay, we're up to 2800. 2825. Now let's go to 6 gauges. 2952, we're still getting an increase. So let's go to 7 gauges spent this turn. We'll skip the Rikus and go to 1 Aqua. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, 20. That was actually less damage. Have we hit our cap? Was it 6 gauges spent? That was the most. We'll repeat that test one more time. And what that told us, another thing that that turn just kind of told us there, was that we could skip abilities in the middle. Like we skipped the Rikus, but the damage was about the same. We didn't lose damage because the abilities weren't used in succession. It is counting the number of gauges you spent for the whole turn correctly, even if you skip some metals. So that's good to know. So to be thorough, let's repeat our tests for 6 gauges spent and 7 gauges spent. So here's with 6, 29, 10. And one more time with 7. $29.93. So yeah, it's pretty close. I think it's within damage variance, RNG, 6 gauges, 7 gauges spent. That's probably going to be maximum multiplier for Larxene. But the last thing I will say though is technically it's not really 6 or 7 gauges spent, because we have to take into consideration Larxene's own 4 gauge cost. So it's not really 6 or 7. We're looking at 10 or 11 being the maximum. And where that kind of comes into play is if you actually throw a cost reduction skill on Larxene, that will actually decrease the amount of gauges you spent. And you can kind of think of it this way. The metal ability only activates after you're swiping it, right? So as you're swiping it, you're spending these gauges, and those are already going to count towards what her ability is checking after it's being activated. So ultimately, I'm thinking, 10 or 11 gauges spent, but you have to take it in consideration of how much she costs on her own. Okay, but anyway, I hope you found that useful. Let me know if you enjoy seeing videos like this, or if it's just kind of boring, if it's too dense. Let me know if you like them, dislike them. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching, especially if you made it to the end. Take care, you guys. I'll see you next time.